Adam complained about being put out of Eden. And God asked, "Why did you eat from the tree? I told you not to." Adam said, "Eve, she gave it to me, the apple." In plain words, he put the blame on her. The real troublemaker was the snake. He fell in love with Eve. If Adam would eat the apple, he would die, and the snake could have Eve. Eve told the snake, "God said we should not touch the tree." Aha! The word touch gave the snake an idea. He pushed Eve against the tree and said, "See, you touched the tree, you didn't die. It's a lie what God said. Go on, eat, you'll see, you wouldn't die." So, the snake was the mischief maker, not Eve. That's why he was cursed and had to live in the dust. We shouldn't blame a woman for the troubles of the world.
I am 102 years. I know I'm not young, but I don't call myself old either. I call myself 102 mature, because I do believe the maturity is coming with the age. I was a member of the Golden Age Club in Great Neck, Long Island. I used to play chess before with an older man. When he was sick, the woman instructor said, "Mr. Lieberman, why don't you do some artwork?" I said, "I never had a brush in my hand." Till one day, she forced me to go to the table, and I started to do art. And she praised it so much that the work is so good that I went out the next day and I bought all the equipment. This encouragement that this lady gave it to me is the reason that I'm living today. Because if I wouldn't have the art that I'm doing now, I'm sure I wouldn't live. The art that I do is a creation, it's a part of godness. And when I do something, it gives me a lift higher up. And it's coming for tomorrow, I figure tomorrow I'll do better.
Harry Lieberman was born on November 15th, 1876, to a Hasidic Jewish family in a small village in Poland. Like other Jewish boys, he was raised in Orthodox tradition, studying the old religious books in Hebrew and Yiddish. In 1906, when he was 29 years old, he immigrated to the United States and went to work as a cloth cutter in the garment district of New York City. In 4 years, he saved enough money to start a confectionery business. He prospered, and at the age of 74, he retired. 6 years later, he started painting. He has created more than 700 works. Many of his paintings are in museums and private collections. He lives in Great Neck, New York, sharing a home with his daughter, Helen Popkin.
This room is where we are keeping all the paintings. What is in here? It is a lot of memories. It is in here some memories from 1890 and maybe 94 years back. This what you learn when you're young is more impressed in your brain than your learning yesterday. If you will ask me what I had yesterday for the breakfast, I don't remember. But I do remember passages from the Bible and the Talmud with 60, 70, 80, 90 years back. I do believe if you look at the paintings, you can see what they are. And the reason is that I try to show, and the other side where the painting is In case if a person don't know what I want to say, I want to show him what is what.
A poor man owned a horse that worked hard all day pulling a wagon. When the man made enough money, he bought for himself and the horse to eat. When he didn't, they neither one ate. The animal died, and not long after, so did the man. Both came before the heavenly tribunal for judgment. The horse said to the man, "I died because you didn't give me to eat. Could I work without food?" The man answered, "When I didn't have for you, I didn't have for myself either. I couldn't do better than what I did." The judgment was, they are both right, and there should be a compromise. The man's soul went into the horse, and the horse's soul into the man.
But the first thing what I do is this. This is a sketch for the painting. When I finish this, when I make the painting, I turn the page over and I use the other one. So I'm keeping on and on and on till I finish.
So you have a lot of work coming.
Yeah, that we have to live long yet. This is mostly coming from the Bible. Everyone's a different idea, and everyone's a different painting. In the meantime, if something else is flowing in my mind, I leave this aside, and I figure this is more important, because I do know my age, and I do know whatever is in my mind more important, I want to give that.
Harry Lieberman spends his winters in Los Angeles with his daughter, Rose Blake. While there, he serves as an artist in residence at the Fairfax High School, 5 days a week, 2 hours a day.
I never attended school. I didn't go even grammar school. I was coming in here and ignorant, no language. The little knowledge that I got now is through the years that I learned from people. The Talmud said, "Who is the wise man? What he learns from everybody." I am the person what I try to observe what everybody's got. And this observation, this is my college, this is my diploma. And the reason is that I'm going in this school. I want to remind myself I'm still a student. The second reason is the technique that I got is my own. I do know my age. I do know someday I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't like to take it alone in my grave. I want somebody should pick it up and do the same thing. And some of them they do. And this is my pleasure. I do feel that the time is so precious that no money in the world could pay for it. Because money, if you're losing it, you're bound to get it back. But if you're losing the time, you could never give it back. And especially at my age, that I am now at 102, it's almost 90% I got in the back of me. In the front of me, I got so very little. Now, therefore, the time is more precious than any gold and silver. The Bible said that Jacob had 12 sons, and one son he loved very much. He loved him so much that he bought him a silk shirt. And the rest of the 11 children, they were jealous. And on account of this, they sold Joseph to the Arabs. The Arabs delivered him to an Egyptian, then they put him in jail. Then from the jail, he was raised up to be a vice president. And not only to be a vice president, he was almost ruling the whole country. This is a picture that I am trying to show to the world. If there are questions, I'll be more than glad to.
What's that writing right there? This right here, the writing.
Oh, here is my name.
Oh, that's your name.
My name is Naftula Herzkel Lieberman, and then I put it the American date, HL 7902. It is here.
How long have you been painting? How long have you been painting?
I started at 80.
80?
I never had a brush in my hand before. The more important for me to show the world what an old man is. An old man is not a curse. An old man is a blessing. The fact is, I don't call myself old. I call myself mature, because the maturity is coming with the age. You are youngsters here. You grow up and up. Every year you'll be better and better. That's what I want to say. In the olden time, the people thought that an old person, they call him an old fayet, an old behemoth, an old nah. It means an old fool. Well, I do know the same old fools you'll find in the young people too. This is not dependent on the old age. If a person is a fool, he's a fool. If an elderly person preserves the days what's past hot and cold, and he collects all those items, and this person is a valuable person to give him respect. I appeal to make it a law that every factory, every office where they employ people over 45 years, they should have an instructor. Tell them, remember, it will be a time when you will reach 65 years and you will be thrown out. They should have something in their hands when they retire, because a person in this age, it must be active. And the activity is, it must coming this what you like. Because when a person is working in a shop, he's not doing what he likes. He is working because he has to make a living. But the hobby is the thing that's coming from your heart. And this is what you want to do. And this gives you life. Because before the end of this century, maybe we will have 60 million elderly people.
Oh, I don't know what I'd look like at that age.
And we have to protect them. They should live a better life.
Hello, how are you?
I ask if then if the old timers.
I'm the old timer. I used to come to your
I used
house.
to work in here.
I used to come to your house to play cards with Sophie. Yeah, how do you do?
How do you do, Mr. Lieberman? Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Harry Lieberman visits the Golden Age Club in Great Neck, New York, where he began painting over 20 years ago.
Hello, everybody.
Nice to shake hands with you. I remember your wife.
Shalom.
How are you feeling?
Welcome, Ray.
Good, good. You're looking wonderful. Just as nice as you did when Sophie was alive.
Any other people from the old timers here?
Mrs. Over there, that one there. She's from the old time.
Only 2 or 3.
Oh, there's a few of them that from the
A
old time.
few.
Yeah. I saw your pictures, many, many of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, when
Do
your
you
wife was
remember-
alive.
You remember when I started in here?
Sure, sure.
It was an old woman.
I'm going to put my arm around her. You got a lot of 80s.
Yeah. I said, would I take picture with an 80-year-old lady?
You're not 80 yet.
I sure I am.
Yeah, December. I'm 8 and a half already.
You have a special diet and food, or you eat everything?
The diet is live normal.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm closing to 90. I'm close to 90.
Big deal.
I'm close to 90.
Why do you say that, big deal?
Well, he's
It's
older.
all right, but isn't it beautiful?
All right.
I am
Listen,
close to 90.
Stella, don't make a remark. Make a joke out of it.
Do you have a round?
You have it, you have it.
Oh, yes.
You have it. You'll see another 90 over here.
How are you?
More than that.
Well,
I
you
met
know.
you the first time at the Great Neck Synagogue when you celebrated your 100th birthday. I saw your paintings, very nice paintings you made. Oh, beautiful. I wish you good luck, always good health, and the long life.
Life and death depends on the tongue. If Mr. Nixon said, go to war, the war was there. If Mr. Carter said we won't have peace, the peace is there. In plain words, the tongue is guarded by two guards. One is the teeth and the other is the lips. For a reason, to hold it on, to watch it out before you leave it out to avoid. Remember, it could be bad. It's a very good moral.
The Jewish people are known as the people of the book. In the old country, when a boy got to be 3 years old, the father wrapped the child in a tallis, the prayer shawl, and brought him to the cheder, the Hebrew school. First, they taught him the Hebrew alphabet, then the Bible, next the Talmud. Even when he is becoming mature, is a grown man, and is working, he could be a salesman, he still carries the book, because it is the law and history of who he is. The painting is of an old man still carrying the book, not to take to the next world, but to give to the next generation so the law and the history will be remembered.
Where were you before you came to here?
In Rush, Poland, near Warsaw.
What's your artwork on? What things do you draw?
The most of the painting that I do is biblical, Talmud, Kabbalah. Some of it just natural, and some of it, whatever I seen, it's something, I read something in the paper, I read a book, and I take it out, the essence from the book, and I make a painting. The religious idea is only you doesn't paint the God. So I don't paint God because I've never seen God. I paint angels. My thinking is this is the way the angel is. Maybe it is not, I don't know. But I use my imagination. It was before the high holidays, and the two Hasidim said to me, why didn't you put it on the tefillin? I said, I'm an old man, and I lived so many years without it. I'll try to live the same way. The man said to me, what will hurt you if you'll put on a tefillin? In between the talk, the tefillin was out of my head. And I was becoming a bar mitzvah about 90 years old. The difference is between my understanding a good Jew. The religious man feels if he stays and he shocks himself and he prays himself, this is the religious way. But I do feel to be a good Jew, to be a good man, is to have a good heart, to love your neighbor as you love yourself, not to do any harm to anybody else. And if the rabbi wants to have the tefillin, let them have it. I could live without it. I do believe I'm a good Jew without it. When I went to the shul, I told the rabbi who I am and what I am. And I told him I'm not religious. He said to me, oh, you're old. That's the reason you're coming back. I answered him, Rabbi, you're wrong. The first reason is my background. I was born religious. The second reason is I want my children should know their nationality. They're Jewish. The third is Sigmund Freud's idea to take a person and to talk to him is coming from the Bible. The biblical version is Dagu Belef Ish Yisacheno. Now I'll give you the explanation. Every person carries something in his chest. When he's talking art, he's talking art from his chest. So the questions and answer, this is Sigmund Freud's idea, and this is the reason that I'm going in the show. I feel something in my chest. I want something to stay near the Hall of Throne and pray. When I'm going out, I'm a different person. Maybe you call myself a split personality, I don't mind it. But here, this is the way I am.
Harry Lieberman's work is exhibited regularly at the Morris Gallery in New York and the Ankrum Gallery in Los Angeles. Both galleries have held several one-man shows of his work.
This picture will show that the scholar must have a trade. If the scholar hasn't got a trade, just only the book is just like a tree, but it's without roots, and when the wind is coming, the wind turns it over. He falls down, just the same way. In plain words, the moral is, if you want to be a scholar, you have to have a trade, because when the stomach is empty, you could not be a scholar. This is supposed to be the big man. He's doing a big deed. This is supposed to be the poor people, small people. He is a big man. This is the reason why they are small and this is big. Conservative rabbi, an Orthodox rabbi, and an Reform rabbi. And you notice everyone is going a different direction. This is the reason why I put the feet up. Oh, everyone is going a different direction because everyone feels that I am the right man. I'm the right rabbi. This is the moral of the picture. Whatever a person does, remember, you must do the right thing, because if you're doing something wrong, the record is there. Don't have it in your mind that you're hiding yourself in a cellar. Everything is written up. If you will be in a cellar too, it's also written up. And the written up is going back direct to the heaven in the regular big book. This picture, to tell you the truth, I don't remember the name because I made so many. Sometimes I forgot the names of it, but it's a very beautiful painting. They're all my children, they're all my paintings, and I love them when I make them, and I love them to look at them. That's the reason I couldn't say which is which. They're all mine.
I show the glory of the generations all around the table together. The grandparents, the mother and the father, the children, all surrounded by the beauties of nature, the flowers that grow, the fruits of the trees, the good food from the earth. This is the glory of the world. This is the true wealth of my old age.
Good shot, David.
David, I love you dearly, but I really don't like your feet in my
That's
phone.
terrific.
Oh, you're very petite.
I'm very fun. I know he's very fun.
Cute move, David.
You hold it.
I noticed you were too busy putting cheese in your mouth.
Grandpa.
By the way, anytime Grandpa wants to jump off the conversation, we could.
There is no
Oh, I'm sorry.
When I reached 102 mature, I figured it's time to give an account of my life. This sketch is made in 7 stages of my life. The first one is the Chayder of the biblical. The second is the Chayder of the Gemara. The third is the yeshiva when I was wearing a shtreimel. The fourth is the same year, at 1906, when I was coming to America. I started to be a cutter. I'd worked at 4 years as a cutter. In 1910, I started to go in business, and I was in business till 1950. And this is the time when I retired from 1950 to 1956. And those 6 years was the worst 6 years in my life. I had so much time in myself, I didn't know what to do with it. But when I started to do painting, I feel that I am living in my own life, and I'm sitting in the top of the world. Well, of course, I do know my age, and I do know someday I wouldn't be here. Well, what is the use to talk about it? What is the use to worry about it? Nobody could avoid it. Everybody has to die. Now, therefore, what shall I think of dying? I'm thinking only of living. If a person thinks he's a schlemiel, he works like a schlemiel. And if he thinks he's somebody, he must put in his whole energy because he knows it. The world will see it, and the world will pay attention to it. I do believe it's necessary. I don't know if I'm famous or not. Maybe they give me too much fame, this I don't know. Because if you will ask me how big of an artist I am, I'll tell you the honest truth, I still don't know what art is. I do know the critics call me an artist, the press call me an artist, so I'm an artist. But to tell me what art is, I don't know.
What are your plans for the future?
To do painting, nothing else. I do know when I make a painting today, when I'll be 6 feet down in the ground, the painting will be still here and the people will still enjoy it and they will say, this is a painting with Lieberman painted. Now this is my reward of hereafter.
On November 15, 1979, Harry Lieberman was 103, mature.